One ring to rule them all. This is Elden Ring. Drew, you and I are here to talk about what might be one of the most anticipated games in recent memories. This is Elden Ring from Software, and it is very in line with the Dark Souls kind of games.
Yep.
I would say it could just be called Dark Souls 4, but that's both reductive and descriptive. But before we get into that, what was your first impression of this game? It is a little tough.
Well, okay, so first of all, I am not a Dark Souls player. Everybody knows that. Scott, you know that. My friends know that. Everybody who watches this show knows I don't play Dark Souls. From Software literally said this is probably the easiest one to get into. Dude, I'm pumped, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Here we go. This is my chance to get into this game, get into the world, understand why everybody loves these Dark Souls, bash your head into the wall mechanics over and over and over again. Dude, I'm still not a Dark Souls player. This game is not for me. I'm probably about 5 or 6 hours into the game, struggling the entire way. Dude, this isn't accessible whatsoever. I didn't understand why I'm there, what I'm doing. You're the Tarnished. You think you're gifted and you should be the one that holds this ring. Is that correct, Scott? Because it doesn't really tell you what the story is, because there's not really a story here at all. Within the first 5 hours of my experience, the lore sometimes is just empty. The world is sparse. I'm going around, I see some monsters, I see some other NPCs. Accessible to kill some of these things are really easy at the get-go, and then other times, dude, I'm running in. You literally make your way out of the tutorial, and then from there you go down into one little valley section, and I got wrecked. And I was like, okay, cool. I will avoid you. I understand that. That makes sense. I will go somewhere else, kind of thing. Go somewhere else. I get wrecked over there. Dude, I ran into a dragon. This is like the highlight of my 5 hour, 6 hour experience. I run into this dragon after I went on a tirade of you and I talking back and forth and how I felt about this game. And then I get burnt. I just got lit up by this dragon, and it was awesome. Like, honestly, it was cool, Scott. I get the appeal, right? I appreciate the game. The game is just simply not for me. If you are a Dark Souls fan, I think you're gonna love it. I really do. If you're not a Dark Souls fan and you think you're gonna get into it, I doubt you do that, because I didn't. It didn't click with me. It didn't get me into that. It's the easiest one to get into experience whatsoever. I felt like I was still playing the same mechanics, the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And for me, dude, I just came off of Horizon Forbidden West, right? Such a story-driven game. And I'm looking for a bit more story here. I was looking for a deeper reason why I'm here. And it's really up to you to kind of go out and explore the world. And then from there, have it kind of piece together very, very vaguely of this story of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. But I really just found myself going from pocket to pocket to pocket on the map, wandering around in circles, wondering why I'm doing this at all.
Oh, there's a lot to what you said that is very valid. I'm not going to try and say that's unfair, because you have the reaction that I think almost 70-80% of the people are gonna have when you get into this. It is unrelentingly hard, but that's also what the draw is. As weird as that sounds, these people that enjoy these games do like being punished, and that triumph when you break through something is what brings you again and again and again. But well, I'm just hovering at about level 30, so I'm not nearly at end game yet, but I've seen a lot of the game, and I've come across some issues where I get held up and then I triumph and get through it, and that's the most exciting part. But this combat being accessible, I'm not really sure I understand that statement whatsoever. This game is not your first RPG. If it is, that's going to be a real rough ride, but that again is also the draw to it. It just kind of has this cult pocket following. But if it lost any of that difficulty, it really just wouldn't be a Souls game. And it is. Despite what the title is, this is a Dark Souls game. The combat is almost exactly the same. The different weapons that you find are all similar. And you have the same kind of agency as to what you want to spec in. You can go strength, you can go dexterity, you can just put it all into health and have a massive health bar. I don't actually recommend that, but there's a lot of the very similar hallmarks to the game. Part of that is just about a zero exposition on the storyline. You get set up, you're tarnished. There is an Elden Ring. That's about all you know. There's a bunch of these kind of lords. They would have been referred to as Lord Souls in the other games. They're vying for the Elden Ring as well. You're going to have to destroy all of them to progress to that end game. And that is all just in line with Dark Souls, but I found that from the bosses that I've seen so far, the named enemies are not incredibly imaginative. Dark Souls 3 had a lot of really weird shapes, sizes, different kinds of creatures. Yep. This has a bit of that, but it's not quite as expressed, I think. Okay. Now, it's entirely possible that I'm missing a lot of these unique kind of creatures, but from what I've seen so far, it's not quite the same as what I expected.
Dude, I ran into a couple, right? And I had that moment of, wow, I beat this guy? Awesome. And then from there, another guy sneezed on me and I died. I was like, this is just... it was... That's the part of Dark Souls that's punishing. That's part that can be rewarding, but it can also be frustrating at the same time. And I come in weighing on more of the frustration side of things, right? I just got through this huge battle, accomplished the battle, and then after that, because my health was so low, I had no potion left to kind of revive myself or heal myself. And then that's what I said, the dude sneezed on me and I was over. I was like, man. And then what happens? I got to go through that whole thing all over again. I'm like, I'm not doing this. No, this is not the way I want to play, right? And that's just
that was not style. A named enemy. You showed me him, and that was not even the same guy at all.
But dude, this guy was huge. He jumps off this cliff. It's super, super cool, right? And I think that's the aspect to it. It's just it's the wonder of the world is really a good pull for a little bit of my direction, right? It kind of. Oh, I'm gonna go explore over here and see what's over here. Next thing you know, I wound up in some cave out of nowhere. Or I traversed over in this part of the land and I'm going through a swamp with some bat creatures out of the sky, and then this dragon shows up out of nowhere. Dude, there's some really cool aspects of the game in Elden Ring, but it's just not enough for me to stick around, to want to play more, to get punished for what reason. I don't really know the lore. It doesn't explain itself whatsoever. It doesn't really explain much of a story. There isn't really anyone to talk to. Like there's a whole lot of nothing going on in my eyes.
Oh, it's unfortunate that you feel that way, because I would have liked you to have the experience that I did, or just to crack open the door and get into this universe. But there's a few things that you almost mentioned there that just is actually new to this version of a Dark Souls game. If you defeat a pocket of enemies, an entire group, sometimes it'll refill your health chalice, and that's meant to allow you to explore. And I think that's put in place because the map is just massively more open than it was before. Mm-hmm. It's still not exactly complete open world, but there's a lot more vistas than you'd see in the older games.
Scott, I think we're ready to score, and I think we're kind of on two different perspectives here. I'm coming from someone who's looking to try and get into this game, and it's just not there. They said it's accessible. It's really not. So if you're a fan of Dark Souls, I think you'll love this game. If you're not and you're trying to get in, I still don't think you're going to get in. And for me, it kind of sucks, honestly. And it's just the story's not there. There is no story as far as I can see after being in the game for 6 hours, and it's just not enough to keep me around. For me, dude, the mechanics work. The game is great to a certain aesthetic for some people, and I got to give it props for what is there. And I think that's what kind of weighs on my score. For me, puts me at a 7. How about you?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, but some of your words hurt me a little bit. I have to agree with a lot of what you said, though. Accessibility, no, that's out the window a long time ago. But there is just a lot of the Dark Souls kind of hallmarks. And I feel like they kind of extended some of them in a good way when it comes to the giant open map. And some of the boss fights are kind of a little bit unique to what I've seen in the previous games. All of the main core mechanics are there, though. Some things that have been hammered out in the last 3 games, PvP, the different weapon types, speccing your character out, that kind of thing. So if you do like Dark Souls, any of the 3, or even Sekiro, although it's quite different, this is definitely going to be a game for you. I was blown away by this one, but again, I do hear you on the difficulty, though. I have to give this one a 9 out of 10. It's just about perfect. Elden Ring is another shining iteration of a Soulsborne adventure. Fans of previous From Software titles will love this one, but new players beware.